The Olam's not here yet because of Mother's Day. Yeah. Okay. We ready? We're good. You hear me? Okay. So Zog the Mishnah. Yeah. Niftaru Zikne Yerushalayim. Okay. We're continuing with the Egla Rufa, which is again when you find a dead body in the outskirts of a city, and you don't know which city it goes to, so you have to measure. You have to measure which part of the city it's closest to, and we said already you got to get Sanhedrin to come down and measure it, etc., etc. Yeah. Then we say once they come and measure it, so that's what we're up to. So Niftaru Zikne Yerushalayim, Mishnah 6 lines over the bottom. Niftaru Zikne Yerushalayim v'hochulen. Zikne Yerushalayim. It doesn't mean they passed away. It means they left. They finished measuring. They left. Zikne Isa Ir Mevian Eglis Bakar Asher Leimashcha Baal. So then there's a kingdom of the city. Bring a cow, meaning a calf, that never pulled any yoke, meaning it never did any work. And then Be'ena Mum Paisaba, but if it has a mum, it's not possible, meaning it could have a mum. When they bring it down to Nachal Esan, which really a Nachal means like a valley of Esan, which we're going to see in the Gemara means like dried out, nothing could grow there.
Is that the name of Rav Chaim Kanievsky's sefer on Egel Ufa?
No, I think it's something else.
You sure? I think it. Okay.
Maybe it is. I thought it was. I don't know. Yeah. So Esan Kimashmai, and the word Esan is what it sounds like, right? Kasha, which means it's hard. How about Bishaino Esan? I'm sorry, meaning it's Kasha. I mean, it's a hard place. Meaning, it's like like they have it's a midbar where nothing grows. How about Bishaino Esan Kasha? But if it's not Esan, if it's a place that does have some growth to it, that's going to be Kasha. All right, but now what do you do? So you bring the cow over there. What you do is you knock its neck with an axe from behind, and that's it. You snap off its neck. The place that you shech the animal is you're not allowed to plant there, and you're not allowed to do any work there. But but you are allowed to comb flax over there. And to chisel out stones there, right? Meaning, so you really just can't do work that's agriculture work. Other work you could do there. Fine. Zikna asir rotzina sideim b'mayim. The ziknei ha'ir wash their hands b'mayim. B'makam arifa shalagla. That's at the same exact place that they do the snapping of the neck. V'ayimrim, and they say yodenu l'shovchas adam hazeh. They say we didn't kill this guy. Basically, our hands did not spill this guy's blood, and our eyes haven't seen. Right, meaning we haven't seen him. Meaning we're not at fault for why this guy died. Also, they have to defend themselves. Do we really think that the Ziknei Bezdin were Shayfchei Damim? Right, so. Ella shaloi ba yodenu perchanu, right? They didn't. What it means is that he didn't come to us like to collect money, and we potted him, right? And it's not like we left him and we didn't accompany him. Away, which we're going to see in the Gemara on Amid Bay. Is a lot of interesting things about that. Yeah.
I just want to go on record. If you weren't trying to make a marriage, I would stop you over here, but I'm not stopping you.
You could go ahead. It's fine. Go ahead.
What? How far is not killing somebody? When the Bezdin, when the Gedolei Yisrael let a rapist, a pedophile, get away, and the Bachik drowns himself in the Atlantic Ocean, did they kill him or they didn't kill him?
And Ochanami, yeah. Oh, you're saying the Ziknei Ha'ir?
Yeah, the Ziknei Ha'ir, yeah.
Yeah, and Ochanami. That would be something, all right? But But in this situation, the assumption is that they didn't do it. But
And
okay,
you
no,
were saying,
it's a fair
because you're
point.
saying you're so shocked that how Gemara is shocked. How could it be? Maybe, yeah. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, but maybe that's why the Gemara says that. Do we believe that they actually killed him? Meaning that killing that way, what you're saying is a groma.
Okay.
I don't know. It's the question's better than the answer. Anyway, so then it goes says we didn't leave him without accompanying him, meaning we would have been milava him too. Meaning basically they're saying that we had nothing to do with this death. Yet we still need a kapara. And the Kohanim say, hold on. I pulled over and the traffic totally dissipated, of course. Totally dissipated. Cars flying by now. All right. Anyways, but I remember the Kohanim say, Kapar la'amcha Yisrael asher pratisa Hashem, that this killing this animal should be a kapara for Klal Yisrael. V'al titin dom naki bekerev amcha Yisrael, and we don't want to spill dam naki, clean blood amongst Klal Yisrael. Meaning, this animal that they're shechting or snapping its neck is meant to be that Hashem shouldn't take out this death on Klal Yisrael. Then that's the pasuk. And you don't have to say that their dam, meaning the dam of this animal, should be a kapara. What that's referring to is that Ruach HaKodesh is wishing them from the surah. It's telling them, whenever you're going to do this, meaning whenever you're going to shech this and not shech it, whenever you're going to kill this animal from its neck down, then Hadam is chaper lehem, then the dam is going to be a kapara. Meaning they don't have to say to Hashem or announce and say in the psukim that there's going to be a kapara. Not necessary to say that. They just say that it's what do you call it? You're guaranteed a kapara if you do this. Okay, so that's it. Now the Gemara gets into some technical situations. So we said the Gemara says now the Mishnah said, right, that a egla rufa cannot do work. Right, it has to be clean, never done work. Yeah, but it could have a mum. It could have a mum. So Gemara says, why should it have a mum? Why don't we say that a mum is possible from a kavachimer, right? Ma para aduma, right? A para aduma, right? The red cow from that you do for the tamei mace cannot have anything on it. Can't have a mum. All those things. Uma para sheina shanam paselas. But however, a para aduma can be old. It can be an old animal, right? So there's no. I mean, it has to be a year, right? But it can't. There's no maximum. But a para that there's no maximum age. Mum paisel ba. But a mum makes it puzzle. Egla shashanim paislas ba. But the calf, the egla rufa, if it's older than a year, then it's puzzle. So that means it's more chamer. Ain't it in mum paisel ba? Isn't the kavachimer that the mum would be puzzle, right? That pasha the kavachimer. A para aduma is not puzzle with years after it's over a year old, but a mum passes it. So egla rufa that can't be older than a year, which means that's a chumrah. So for sure it should be the mum should passel it. That's the kasha. So Gemara answers shani osam damakra asher ein ba mum. It says that it doesn't have a mum. Ba mum paisel ve'ein mum paisel ba'agola. The mum is puzzle with it, meaning only dafka on a para aduma is a mum puzzle and ein mum puzzle ba'agola. So the word ba takes away the kavachimer. So Gemara says elamiyata lo yu shar avodas psulis ba. Then the other avodas shouldn't be puzzle, right? Why? Meaning a para aduma, if it does any sort of work, it's puzzle, but it shouldn't be. If you put on the para aduma a sack on or a bunch of sacks, psula, it's puzzle of egla achatimsha, but an egla rufa, it's just putting the sacks on top of the back of the calf doesn't make it puzzle. It has to actually walk with it, right? So So why don't we say it's this? They're equal. So it's a shani part of the afinan all me egla. Now we have exera shava from the egla from all. That just like anything passels any work passels a egla rufa. So the same thing by paraduma. So Gemara says egla nami tesi all mi para. So why don't we go the other way? Once you're learning everything out, so then why don't we learn out egla from para? Right, and then say that if there's a mum, just like by a paraduma, a mum is not a problem. So too egla rufa. So Gemara answers Hamid Rahman Abba. We already answered that. The pasuk says the word ba that tells you only a mum is puzzle in paraduma, not egla rufa. So the Gemara says egla nami ksiv ba, but the egla also says ba, right? So why? So it should be a problem. It's coming to exclude kachim, the loy paslehu avoida kachim. Any carbon any animal you bring for a carbon, you're allowed to do work with it. You're risking it getting a mum, but you're allowed to do work with it. Because you would have thought, well, learn how to kavachamer from egla. Ma egla, right? Egla rufa she'ein mum paisel ba. In egla rufa, a mum doesn't passel it. Avoida paiselas ba. But if you work with an egla rufa, like we just learned, you can't do any work with it. So again, you're allowed to. There's no psul of mum on egla rufa, but you're not allowed to do work. So kachim shemum paiselas pen. So kachim that a mum makes a puzzle. Anything shavoida paiselas pen isn't the kavachamer that avoida would passel it. So Gemara answers equal miprach mala egla shekain shanim paiselas. But you can't bring a kavachamer from egla because egla has a chumra to it because if it's more than a year old, it's going to be puzzle. Yeah. So Gemara asks for kachim the loy psulabu avoida mehacha nafka, right? What about kachim that there's no psul avoida? Do we learn it out? From here? Mehasam nafka. We learn it out. Meaning we're saying that we learned it out from. I'm losing track here. Kachim loy possible avoida mehacha nafka.
I think you skipped a line.
I did.
We're up to Atu Kachim Mileka.
I thought I did that. Okay, Atu. I think I skipped the next line. Thank you. Atu Kachim. That's I guess why I got a little thing. So Atu. Thank you. Atu Kachim. Mileka the Pasal Ushana by Kachim. Right? Aren't they? Yeah, you're right. I totally skipped that. Yeah. Thank you. Meaning we want to say that you can't bring a kavachamer of egla rufa because egla rufa, anything older than a year doesn't work. So it has a chumrah. So when it says atu kachim mileka the pasal ushanim, by kachim, isn't there? There are those that are puzzle for years, right? A carbon pesach and a carbon chatos. They have to be less than a year old. Ki itzrich kro lahana kachim the pasal ushanim, and then what do you need the pasuk for? For the kachim that are puzzle in years, right? To tell you that you don't learn out the kavachamer. So when it says v'kachim le puzzle avoid mehacha nafka. Do you learn it out from here? Mehasam nafka, you learn it out from over there because it says averes. If it's blind, I shavor, it's broken, has a broken bone. I charutz, or it's the eyelid is broken. I yaveles, I garav, I alefas. Those are all skin diseases. Laisa krivu eila Hashem. You shouldn't be marketed to these to Hashem. Mashma eila iata makriv. These that have all these mums, right? Avalata makriv kachim shenev the ben avoda. But you are allowed to be makriv kachim, you're allowed to be makriv karbonis that did some avodah. All right, so we learned it out from there. So why do you need what was it? Ba. Yeah. So my answer is no. It's heter. Maybe that's only you can use a animal for mizbeach if the malacha that you did with it was a malacha beheter. Aval avodas iser ema litzrut. But maybe if let's say the animal did an iser, let's say the animal's machal Shabbos. You take an animal and you set it aside for a carbon. Then you go and you use it on Shabbos, or you did it together with another animal, different type of animal, so it's client. So you would think that if you did that, you can't bring it as a carbon. So tzrichi, that's why we need the pasuk to tell you even that you're allowed to bring it as a carbon. So what says well, we have a limit for that too. We don't need the pasuk for that. We learned it out from this pasuk. Right? You should not take from a guy any of these type of animals that have a mum. Again, it says it's referring to the to goyim, right? It's referring to goyim, but bottom line is it says these shouldn't you shouldn't be makriv these. But you could be makriv kachim that the avodah was done. So what it says it's true. No, we need it. You need it because where you made them when you did work with them when they were chulin. You would think, okay, so if you took an animal that you did work with it and you want to be makriv it, fine. But once you make it into kachim or to kaidish, so maybe you can't. Maybe it should be asa. So tzricha, so that's why we need all the psukim. So basically, you need all these psukim to tell you that for an animal that's kachim, you're allowed to do work with it, and you're allowed to do work with it even that's aser. I mean, you're not allowed to do aser work, but if aser work was done with it, you could also use it. And even if you used it after it was hektish, it's all okay. Right? Okay, so that's on. So then again, just to chazer, an egla rufa can't have can yes have a mum, can't do any work. A paraduma, excuse me, a paraduma could have and also an egla rufa has to be less than a year old. Paraduma can be more than a year old. You can't do any work, but it's not allowed to have a mum. Yeah. Okay, so Gufa, third wide line down. Gufa, Amrav Yudam Barav. Aida Shasakin. So you said
I'm
it.
sorry. Isn't there a problem being nenem mina kachim and you be chayiv meila? Even once it's kaidish, aren't you? So you use it for plowing. Very nice, but you're nenem mina kachim. Isn't that a problem?
Yeah. So I don't know if it means. Does it mean that you made it do work, or it just means that it had work?
Well, I mean,
Right?
it got its own contract. The cow got his own contract to do work on its own.
I don't know. It's I didn't put something. Somebody put something down on it with a paraduma. It's very chomer. Right? Nothing could go on it. Right? It doesn't want to even clear if a bird went on its back. I don't remember what we say, but I don't know. I hear you. I hear you, Kasha.
This would be bemazed, so it wouldn't be meila.
Rachamim, I have that written in my Gemara. What you asked, I had it written there from last time.
I think, Ron, that's what it is. I think you'd be Ivor, but doesn't mean that the animal is right. That's what it is. That's what you're saying, Gershon? You'd be Ivor.
You're going to go both ways. Yeah.
All right. Saying you would be Ivor. You could taka Ivor if you use the animal, but that doesn't passel the animal. That's what I think it's saying. It's not going to passel the animal. You ain't getting the Tzaddik of the Year award, like we say, but you're not. But it's not going to. It's not going to passel the animal. Yeah. Okay. Fine. So Gufa Amrav Yudam Arav and if you put on it a bunch of sacks, psula. I'm sorry, it's puzzle. You can't use it for paraduma. But egla achatimsha. But an egla, if you just put it on its back, it's fine until you actually walk with it. So meisvei. So one has a long kasha here. Meisvei. Ol. It says in the pasuk ol, which literally means a yoke, right? I mean the yoke is the thing that you put around the animal's neck. Ainli ela ol shara avoidus minayin. How do we know other avodas you're not allowed to do? So Amr Kavacharim, Sim Kavacharim, my Eglish ain't Shum Paisel, but an Egla does not have there's no Shain Mum Paisel, no Mum Passel to it. Shar avodas psulas, but other avodas do make it puzzle. Para Shemum Paisel, but ain't it in Shar avodas Paisel. Shouldn't it be a Kavachimer that other avodas passel it, right? Meaning again, and all if An egla, no mum is not an issue, but you're not allowed to do any avodah with it. So a para who does have a mum, who has a mum issue, shouldn't be a kal v'chomer that other avodas are possible. V'im nafshach leimer. And if you want to say that you don't like this kal v'chomer, which the Gemara doesn't explain it, that'll explain in 2 lines. V'im nafshach leimer. And if you want to say that that's not what it is, nemar kan ol v'nemar lahalon ol. So we have exeris shava. I mean, if you don't like the kal v'chomer, we can accommodate you with exeris shava. It says all here, and it says all over there. But just like there, other by the egla rufa, other avodas pasalit. Afkan shar avodas pasalit. So too here by paraduma, any other avodah pasals it. Okay, so ma'am nafshach loimer. What does it mean in nafshach if you want to say? Because maybe you have a kasha on the kavachomer. Mala egla shekain shanim pasalis. Like we've been saying, egla has a chumra to it. Because years, if it's above a year old, you can't use it. Hinami kachim yechichu. So then you'll say that kachim will back that up. Shemum paiselba, because by kachim and mum is paisel, vein avodah paiselisba. But doing work with a kachim animal doesn't paisel it. So nemar kan. So meaning memela, you think that you'll have the kal v'chomer or you won't have the kal v'chomer, whichever way you want to go with it. So nemar kan ol v'nemar lalon ol mal lalon shar avodas. Just like over there, it means other avodas. Afkan shar avodas. So too here, it means all other avodas. Right? So therefore, we know that nothing works. No avodas work. No pun intended. Not by egla, and not by paraduma. Umimakam shabasa, and from there, the way you came, that's where you can go. Right? Mala alon achatim shaf, and just like over there. By egla rufa, it's until you actually pull it. Afkan achatim shaf. So paraduma, it should be until you pull it. Meaning, if you're comparing egla rufa to paraduma, and we already said that paraduma becomes puzzle right when you put stuff on top of its back, and even if you never pull it, and egla rufa is only puzzle once you pull it. So if that's the case, and you're comparing the two, so then paraduma should also not become puzzle until you pull it. So when it answers Tanoihi, that's actually a machlokes Tanoim, right? Meaning this whole thing is a machlokes Tanoim. Yeah.
I mean, nothing. Who cares? What are we getting bent out of shape by Negla Rufus? Look at another one. Big deal.
You mean? Yeah, that's true. But since when does that stop us? You're right. It's not like you're right. It's not like a paraduma.
So be machmir and don't use it. We're machmir and every. So be machmir, don't use it. Get another Egla Rufus.
No, it's true, but you still want to know to. You still want to know. No.
Not me personally, no.
But the Egla Rufa, we know it has to pull it. It's the paraduma we don't know. Or there's the machlokas. It's the other way.
Well, that's what we're trying to learn it out from the Egla Rufa to the paraduma. Correct. I mean, from the Egla Rufa to the paraduma. But anyway, so the Gemara says Tanoi. It's actually machlokes Tanoim, not a machlokes Tanoim where they're pulling it. That I think everybody's going to hold not that you can even if it doesn't pull the paraduma is no good. The machlokes Tanoim is the Ika Demaisi me Egla, because some learned it out from Egla Rufa, and Ika Demaisi me Gufa de para. And some learned it out from the guf of the para. Not doesn't mean from the body of the para, meaning from the psukim of para. Why? The Tanya ol says a yoke. Ainly ella ol. Shar avodas meaning where do the other avodas come from? So tamalay marasha loy ol where the ol didn't go on it, which means mikol makom from any place. Im gain ma tamalay mar ol. Why does it say ol? Ol paisel bein b'shas avoda bein b'shalei b'shas avoda, and ol will make it puzzle whether you put it on it b'shas avoda or not b'shas avoda. The shar avoda is ein puzzle, it's ela b'shas avoda, but other avodas only are a problem when it actually does the work, right? So we're saying that there's a chilik between all, which is what the pasuk is talking about, and other work that I guess does not necessarily have an all. So Gemara asks, why don't we say the pasuk says that nothing went on it? That's a klal. All prat, and then when it says a yoke, That's telling you specifics, meaning the first pasuk says nothing should go on it. Then it says, well, an all shouldn't go on it. What's the rule? Klalu prat. Whenever you have a basic rule and then you have a specification, ein b'chlal ela masha b'prat. The klal, there's nothing in the klal, only what's in the prat. All in midiachrini loy. If the all yes, other things no. So my answers, asher is riboy Yehu. The word asher is a riboy, right? That says that not only is it an all an issue, but any type of work is an issue. But Tani Nami Gabi Egla Ki Agavna, we have the same limit by Egla Rufa. All, it says there an all. They can't have a yoke on the Egla Rufa. Ainly Ela all. Shar avoidus minayin. How do you know other avoidus? Tamalaymer asher loy avoid, but that it didn't do any avoida. Mikol makom, meaning that's any avoida. Him kain matam malamer all. So if you're saying that any work is not allowed, so then why do you have to say all that specifically has a yoke? So all and all makes it puzzle whether it was was the time of working, whether it wasn't the time of working. Shar avoidus ain't puzzles ela b'shas avoida, but other avoidus do not become puzzle, only the shas avoida. Okay, so then the Gemara says, Be'ema asher loy uvad ba klal. Maybe it's anything that it shouldn't have any work is a rule, is a blanket rule. All is a prat. Klalu prat ain't b'klal ela masha b'prat. If you have a klal prat, is whatever the klal is very much constricted by the prat, which means all in midachri light, only in all and nothing else. So when it says same thing, asher is a ribuy. Asher is a ribuy. All right. Okay. So that's about the bottom line. Is it's basically the same maskana as we said before. It's just different ways of going about learning it. Some say it's a kavachaymer, some say it's exer shavan, some say it's just straight from the psukim themselves, and we don't have any klal props. Okay.
Yeah, when we say avoided, is only avoided that's done with an all. For instance, if it did another avoided like dash, is that also a psul? I mean, not every avoid is only with a all. So what do you mean when we say?
Right, that's what it said. I think isn't that what it means? That's talking about an avoid that's not an all. Right, like schlepping the laundry to the well. I don't know.
Rachman, would you have work, but that's not Mila? Did you and you wouldn't be over Mila? Did you have such a thing?
I don't know. Would you have anything that's not? Is there? I don't know.
I don't know. I guess there are.
Okay.
Yeah, because you could have it could be if you're going to be nana without having an avoider done. Yeah, let's see, you can nana, whatever.
No, would you be over Mila? Let's say you used it as a backdrop for your pictures. People wanted to take a picture as a farmer, so you put the Egla Rufati in the background as the guy looks like a farmer. You put a farmer's hat on him with a pitchfork, and you have the cow there. So is a Mila?
Sounds gothic. Yeah, that's a joke. You're not getting hana from that. You're not getting hana.
You're getting paid, but if guy's giving you $100 for the picture, what do you mean you're not getting hana?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough of the rules of Meila. Okay, so Amar Rabbi boy, me name Rav Yochanan. They asked the Shavar Yochanan, Meshichas all bekama. How long do you have to pull the all? Right, meaning how far does it have to go to make it puzzle? Amar lei kimalei all, the length of an all. Okay, meaning whatever. Let's say the all is 2 feet. So if you pull it 2 feet, so that's it. Then it becomes puzzle. When you say the size of an all, is it the width of the all or is it the length of the all? So Amar lahu, Hahum Rabbanan Rabbi Yaakov Shmei. It was Rabbi Yaakov was his name. Rabbi Yochanan explained it to me. Meshichas all l'rochbei. What it means is you pull the yoke for the width. Okay, and what is it? It's a tefach. So why don't you say v'lema tefach? Why don't you just say that? Why you have to say this complicated thing that it's you pull it the size of an all, which is a tefach? Why don't you just say tefach? Hakamashmalan shiuru the all tefach havi. I want to teach you that the shear of tefach is the shear of an all is a tefach. Okay, the my nafkamina. What's the chiddush? What's the difference? Whether the size of an all is a tefach. So the mekach memkar for business, meaning if you buy a yoke from a guy and it ends up not being a tefach, so you could complain to the guy that he sold you a bill, he sold you nothing. It was no good, right?
That's a pretty small yoke.
That is, yes, that is a pretty small yolk. It's more like an egg yolk, that one. No. Right. Fine. Amr Rabbi Yochanan ben Shalom Pneima Amr Torah Hevi Egla Benachal. Right? Why did the Torah say that you have to bring an egla in a nachal? Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Yavai Davar Shalai Asa Peres. Let something come that never had Peres. V'yarif b'makam she'ein Asa Peres. Meaning you're taking something that never had Peres because the calf was obviously too young to have kids. V'yarif b'makam she'ein Asa Peres. And take off its neck in a place that doesn't make Peres because that's the nachal, right? The nachal Eson, which is barren. And it should have a kapara for this guy who was killed, who wasn't able to have Peres, to have Peres. Also, it says my Peres. What's Peres? If it means to have children, that this person that died didn't have children. Let's say the guy that was found dead was past the age of having kids, or the guy that was found dead was a saris, right? He couldn't have kids. So that means you don't have to bring the egla rufa. Ella, and it's a major musar. This will suffice for the musar for tonight. Ella means mitzvahs, right? The ikr, the Rashi brings it, right? The ikr peiros of a person is his Torah. I think it's his Maisim Tovim too, no? Right? But it was saying that the ikr, it's mitzvahs. Here it doesn't say Torah. It says a person's mitzvahs are his ikr children. So Mimela, you bring an animal that didn't have mitzvahs to a place that I guess doesn't have mitzvahs, and it has a kapara for a guy who died and he could no longer do mitzvahs. Fine. The word Esan is what it sounds like, which means something hard. How do you know that Esan means something hard? Shenemar on Tamid Beis. Esan Moishavecha, Esan will be the place where you live. Sim besela kanecha, and put a rock. Your nest will be by a rock, right? So you see that the word Esan has to do with a cellar, with rocks, which don't grow anything. But Aimer Shimu Harim is Riv Hashem ve'Esanim Moistei Aretz. Listen mountains to the fighting by Hashem, with exactly what that means. And Esanim Moistei Aretz, and the Esanim, which is the how do you call it? The foundation of the land. Fine. Acherim, that's the one day. So you see that Esan has to do with hard things. Acherim, they have a little different shot. Esan shu yashan. Esan means that it's old. Shenemar goy Esan hu goy me'olam hu. It's a nation from Esan, and it's a nation from me'olam, from forever, which Rashi says means yashan. Okay. Right. So basically it means that it's been there from Sheshis Yimei Bereshis, and nobody ever did anything with it. I think that's what that means. Fine. And you hit it, you kill it with an axe from its back. My time. So we know that a chata sa'if, there's a bird. When you bring a chata sa'if, a carbon chatas, that's a bird, right? So that you do malika, right? There's no shechting of birds in the Beis Hamikdash. You take the finger, Kohen takes his fingernail and he slices its neck. Right, so we learn out from Agzera Shava, Rifa. Just like over there, it's from the neck, from behind the neck. So to here by the Egla Rufa. Fine. So the place that you shech, that you're gonna put the axe on its neck is you're not allowed to plant there. You're not allowed to do any work there. So that you didn't, that you're not going to work it. You're not going to plant lisha avar. That means that you can't have it there, meaning once the work was done there, you can no longer bring the Egla Rufa there. Meaning you have to find a place that work was never done. No, it doesn't mean that. Meaning you could have had place in Nachal Esan that was worked over. You're not allowed to work it over from here on out. Lahaba, it's talking about the future. That's the first shot. Rav Amar lahaba dekuli amar lepligi. When to do work in that place from the future, there's no machlokes. T'chsiv v'lo yizra, that says don't plant there. So once you decide to do the egla rufa in this place, you can't work the land. Keep pligi l'sha'avar. What are we? Machlokes is whether you can use a place that you use that land already. Rabbi Yoshi Savar Miksiv v'lo yu'ubad. Does it say that it shouldn't be worked? Right? It says you shouldn't do work. Rabbi Yonason Miksiv Asher Loy Never, and Rabbi Yonason says no. Does it say that it wasn't worked already? Rabbi Yoshi says Asher l'sha'avar masha. The word Asher sounds like it already was worked. Rabbi Yonason Asher ribuyahu. He says the word Asher comes to include something, right? And it doesn't mean to say that it's in the past tense. Bottom line is, based on the diktuk here, I wish I understood diktuk better, especially for these gemaras. But bottom line is here it's a based on the diktuk, it's a machlokes, right? Based on the diktuk, it's a machlokes, right? Over whether it has to be in the past or not. Meaning in the future, everybody holds you can't. Once you bring the egla rufa there, you can't do any work. The shaila is, can you do the egla rufa in a place that already had the work? Fine. But you're not allowed to work the land. You can't do agriculture where you did the egla rufa, but you are allowed to comb flax over there, and you could chisel the stones and use the stones. So says that you can't work there and you can't plant. It only tells you planting. And how do you know that you're not allowed to do other avodas? It says that it wasn't worked then become makom from any place. So why are you saying don't plant? Meaning if you already said don't do any work there, so why do you have to specify not to plant? Planting goes into actual karka. That's only we're doing work that's actually going into the guf of the karka. Yotzas rikas pishton, v'nikar avonim comes to exclude combing flax and chiseling stones. She'enan begufa shel karka, that's not in the guf of the karka. Fine. So why don't we say the same kasha as we had before? Maybe we should say you can't work the land. That's a rule. But lo yizra prat, and don't plant. There's a prat, klalu prat. When you have a standard, a rule that includes everything, that's a klal. And then prat, then the pasuk comes and specifies it. Aim b'klal elamasha b'prat. There's in the klal only what's in the prat. Ria in which would tell you only planting is awesome. Media something else is not. So Gemara says asher ribuyu. The word asher is a ribuy to tell you that all sorts of malachas are not just zriya. Fine. Ziknei here, right? It's in Yudayan. So the Ziknei here wash their hands over there. The Torah bottom, B'chol Ziknei here, Hahi, Hakroyim Elachol, Yirchutzu Yudayim, Al Ha'egla Rufa Banachol. What they do is they wash their hands on the Egla Rufa. Right? So, meaning it sounds like they actually wash their hands on the animal after they shechted it. So, Shein Talmud Lema Harufa doesn't have to tell you Harufa, because we know that it was Harufa. Why is it saying Egla Rufa again? Why didn't it just say on the calf? So what's the word arufa coming to tell you? You have to wash your hands at the place where the calf was axed, I guess, right? Meaning you would think that you can move the calf, the egla, and move it someplace else and wash your hands over the calf wherever you want. So it's telling you no, you have to wash your hands in the place right there. You don't move it and wash your hands right where it was killed. And the Zakanim say, we didn't kill this guy and our eyes didn't see it. Does it go on our heart also? That Bezdin were killers? What it means is that he didn't come with us and we let him go without feeding him. And it's not like we saw him and we let him go without walking out with him. Fine. Tanya, Rameir said, Kaifin Levia, we're kaifer somebody to, we force people to walk people out of the city. Shashara Levia Ein Lashir. A very interesting line. the schar of accompanying somebody out of the house is ein lo shir. Shenemar, I mean, not out of the house, out of the city. Shenemar, and this is talking about in Shaiftim by what was it again? By the what was the story again? By Ephraim and Menashe, right? For the when they were being kovish Eretz Yisrael, so they went to Beis Kel, and they couldn't find where to go. So some guy led them and showed them where it was. So by Yiru Hashoimim Ish Yotzim in ear, and the Shomrim saw somebody leaving the city. But Yarmru, they said, "Harenu no as mavoya ir, asinu amcha imcha chesed," and do, meaning show us how to get into the city, and we're going to do with you chesed. Uksiv bayarim es mavoya ir, and he showed them where the entrance to the city was. Uma chesed also imai. What chesed did he do with him? Shekala is here haragul afi charav. They went in and they killed out the whole city of Beis Kel. And that guy who gave them directions, they didn't kill him and they let him go away. So that was his schar. Then it says Vayelech ish eretz hachitim, and Vayiven ir vayikra shema luz. So then that guy went, and he went to the Chiti, and he built a city there called Luz. He shema adayem hazeh. It's called Luz until today. Yeah. Fine. So that's meaning that's another schar that the guy got, because he got to escape and he got to build a city. So Tanya, he Luz shetzayvim b'tchelis. That's Luz where they get the tchelis from. He Luz shabas sancherev v'loy bilbala. Sancherev, when he was taking everybody and mixing everybody up and putting them into gullus, he didn't touch Luz. Nebuchadnezzar v'loy yechriva. Nebuchadnezzar didn't destroy it. But even the Malach HaMavis, this would be some nursing home, parrots. This would be you'd make a lot of money if you went to this, if you made a nursing home in this city, right? Va'af Malach HaMavis ain't like reshus lavid, but Malach HaMavis has no reshus there. Elas Kanim Shabab is man should die to Katza. And one there's Kanim there who don't die because the Malach HaMavis has no power. When that time that they get finished with life, Yaitzin Chutz L'chaima, they have to leave the city, Vein Mesim, and they die. So we say that there's a whole lot of schar for helping people leave a city or giving them direction. So it's mashram here that the point of he didn't let them leave the city, he made them enter the city. Basically, it's like giving directions. So it sounds like there's a lot of schar for giving people directions. That's the pashup shot in the Gemara, right? So the Gemara says, this Kanani who didn't even speak with his mouth, and he didn't even walk with them. He and his kids and him were saved forever. Me, Sha'isa, Levia Baraglov. So if you actually go and you escort somebody out of the city with your feet, Allah kama, how much more so you're going to get rewarded?
Bring a riot from a guy. This a guy.
Yeah, that's what bringing a riot from a guy. He helped Yidden, right?
We'll bring a riot from a guy that a Yid who's malava somebody out is gets car.
Yes, that's what they will bring a riot from him. Yeah,
We're gonna bring and a kal v'chomer.
The next Gemara coming up is very schwer to understand. But let's see, because we go more from a guy. So it says he didn't talk to them. So what did he show them? Basically, like he made with his mouth. Like he went like he mouthed it. I guess he didn't want to talk because he was afraid to get in trouble, maybe. He showed them with his finger, but he didn't talk. Fine. We have a brayso like Rabbi Yochanan. Since this Kanani showed with his finger, that's why he was saved, him and his family, the Saiv Kaladoris. So it's mashma like Rabbi Yochanan. If you're going on the way and you have nobody to accompany you, then learn Torah. Shenemar ki levias chein heim l'reishecha v'anokim legargareisecha. Right, because Torah is a good thing to go with your head, and it's like anokim legargareisecha. Gargar is a neck. Anokim is like a necklace. It's a necklace around your neck, so it'll protect you. Here, how about this Gemara? Because of the 4 steps, Shalava Pari Lavram, that Pari, when he wanted to he would have killed Sarah, but he was Malava Avram, Shenemar, Shenemar v'yitzav Allah Paroi anoshim, and Paroi told the men, and they said, send out Avram. Nishtabed b'ban of Arba Me'ah Shana. So because of that, the Yidden were Meshabet to him for 400 years. Shenemar v'avadam v'yinu wasam Arba Me'ah Shana. Can you explain that to me? So because Paroi, the Pashup Shan in this Gemara is very difficult.
I mean,
Paroi-
Pari who murdered millions of Yidden, of
Right.
millions of babies. That Magai, because he's Malava, so he gets.
He was right. He was Malava of Avram Avinu, therefore he got to be Meshabet of Avram Avinu's kids for 400 years. I think
Oh.
Avram Avinu would have told him, go
That
fly a kite,
was
stay home, and I'll go. What? That was what?
That was beforehand.
It was before. So what's up? What's his schar for being Malava Avram? That he gets to have Avram's kids for 400 years. Right? Okay, so in the art scroll at the bottom they had a pshat that's meaning the Hashem decided that the Yidden are going to be enslaved for 400 years. It was just a matter of who was going to do it. So Pare won the sweepstakes and he got the Yidden, meaning it was in Hashem's plans to make the Yidden work for 400 years. Pare won it because he did this to Avram. That's the way they say it. I forgot who they say it from.
And the Mitzrayim still got punished for it.
And they got punished for it. Yeah, I mean, this is very, very hard.
From the Marsha
The Marsha that says it.
and Rav Yaakov
So-
Emden, yeah.
Yeah, so that I think it's Marsha together with the. It's very hard to understand because then why are they getting punished? All right, whatever. You get into fine. Amar Yudam Rav, call him Alavas Chaver Arba Amos the ear ain't a nizik. If you take him 4 Amos in the city, then the guy who's traveling won't be damaged. Ravina Alavi the Rabbi Bar Yitzchak Dalar Amos here. Ravina did this. He was Malava Rabbi Bar Yitzchak 4 Amos. Mata Liode Hezeka, and then a Hezek came to him, Vitzil, and he was saved. Right? So Tana Rabbanon, Harav LeTalmud ad Ibura Shel Ir. A Rav has to, if his Talmud comes to visit him, he just takes him till the Ibura Shel Ir is like the outskirts of the city. Chaver LeChaver ad Tchum Shabbos. But a friend to accompany a friend is up to the Tchum Shabbos, which is 2,000 Amos out of the city. Talmud LeRav ain't lo shir. Talmud LeRav has no shir. What does that mean? Ain't lo shir. That means he has to walk the Rav all the way home. The Kama. So how much is it? Is ad parsa. That's a parsa, which is 4 mil, which is 8,000 Amos. But that's only a Rebbe that it's not muvik. A Rabbi muvik shloisha parsais. A Rabbi muvik is shloisha parsais, which is quite a long way. So the place can say nowadays we don't have rabbi, we don't have now that the Sfarim and everything, we don't have Rabbi muvik. So what's very interesting is that if you look into Ein Mishpat, it goes to a Rambam. So the Rambam paskins like this, that you have to be malava guests out of the city. Shulchan Aruch doesn't say it. There's no. It's not brought in Shulchan Aruch. This din, right? The Chavetz Chaim and Avos Chesed brings it, but it seems like there is a hanhaga to do this. The only thing is, I think what people make a mistake is that if you have a guest that comes to your house and the guy lives 5 blocks away, if he's staying within the city, I don't think there's an Indian to walk him out. Right? It's only if he's traveling out, then you should walk him out. As far as I understand it from this Gemara, it's about because the roads are very dangerous. So you should accompany him. But it doesn't
So
apply
giving a
within
guest
the
a ride
city.
to the airport.
Yeah, so maybe if you have a Rebbe, you would have to drive him to the airport or whatever. But even the airport's in the Tchum, so I don't know how that works exactly. But yeah.
A
But
Rebbe,
the
you'd
is
have
not a
to-
halacha.
a Rebbe, you'd
Yeah,
have
what
to
do
go up to 18 mil. You have to drive him to Brooklyn.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, La Locha, the Mishnah Berurah says,
No,
Daled
Brooklyn
Amos,
is probably in a part of city. What?
La Locha, the
Um,
Mishnah Berurah says, Daled Amos.
I don't remember. I didn't have time to look where I thought the Mishnah Berurah brings Abbas Chesed. I think he brings it in Mishnah Berurah at the end of Chelik Beis. I wasn't sure. No, I don't know. I'll have to look later. Anyways, okay. So Rav Kahana,
But a Rebbe,
If you're going to Lakewood, we have to be Malava?
yes,
going to
somebody's
Lakewood?
going. Yes, you should be malava him. seems like the minig is not to be malavim out of the city, but at least walk them to the door. When my kids come for Shabbos, so sometimes I'm in the middle of the top, so they're leaving and they're going back to Muncie or whatever, so I can't be malav them. But other than that, if they're going, I mean, I like to walk in the door anyways. But if I can't, then but when they're going out of the city, I malav them because that's
Isn't it
what you're
supposed
supposed
to
to
do it
do.
every time?
I'm asking about a Rebbe, not a guest in your house.
Oh
A Rebbe's
no,
leaving.
Naftali, when
You'll
you're
go to
going to
Lake-
your house, when you're going to your house, I don't have to be malava you. You're in the
Why? Every
city.
time you're leaving
I'm
someone's
your-
house,
I'm,
no?
I'm not
No,
your
it's
Rebbe,
not.
you're
So I'm
my
saying
Rebbe.
it's not the house. It's not the house.
It's the city
going.
specifically.
It's going out of the city. That's the way it's
Right,
mashma
so
from
I'm
here.
asking, when you go to Lakewood for a chasana,
You're not. We're not together. You don't have to be malava. It's only if you're together.
leaving the city, only if
No,
we're
you have to.
only-
No, it's only if
oh.
he's your guest.
When
Only
is
if
he
he's your
not
guest.
together with you?
That's totally nice try. You
When-
think you can get
when-
out of bedtime the rest of your life? Nice
When's he
try.
not together with you?
That's a different question. That's a different question.
No, but I'm just saying, the
What if he
Mishabura,
spends more time in your house than your kids? They're considered.
the Mishabura says that the city as well.
I don't remember if the Mishnah Berurah brings it. I don't remember. I wish I had time today to look it up, but I didn't. So, I probably did. I was just too lazy. Let's see. Actually, I was working on the Shavuos. I was working on the Shavuos shir, getting Mar Mekaymis. So, but I should have remembered to do this first. Okay, Shine. I'll try and do it later. Fine. Rav Kahana, Alve Rav Simi Bar Ashi, Mipum Nara, Ad Beit Sinis at the Bavel. So Rav Kahana traveled with Rav Shimi Bar Ashi from Pum Nara to Beit Sinisa, which is in Bavel, which had a lot of palm trees. Rashi says. Kimatu Hasam, when they got there, Amarle said to him, Vade Dam Risu, is it for sure what you said? Hani Tanisa the Bavel, Mishnei Adam Arishan Nisnu, that these trees here that are in your town are there from Adam Arishan? Amarle, so he told him, At Kartan Milsa, the Amar of Yosef, you remind me of something that Rav Yosef Chanina said, Eretz loy avar ba ish, lo yashav adam sham. It's a land that no man passed and nobody dwelled there. If nobody ever went there, so how can anybody dwell there? And the parentheses has the opposite, but meaning if nobody ever passed there, so of course nobody settled there. Ella Eretz shegazer aleh adam rishon liyishuv nisyashva. Any land that Adam Rishon was geyser people should live there, then it was nisyashva. Eretz shaloi gazer aleh adam rishon loy nisyashva. But a land that Adam Rishon was not geyser, people should live there, so they shouldn't live there. So the Amazon, obviously, the Adam Rishon was geyser, not that people don't live there, right? There's many parts of the world that people don't live. Right, Columbus didn't discover America. Adam did, according to this. Right, Adam decided that America will be settled at some point. Right, so again, Adam Rishon Loinus Yashva. Fine.
There was Yidden who lived in the Amazon. They never ended up getting intermarried, but they lived in the Amazon. Yeah, true Jewish trade, the same way there was traders all over the place. There was traders went to the Amazon. They opened up stores in the Amazon to sell to those Indians.
Same, but there are uninhabited areas of the Amazon.
Well, okay.
So I'm saying anything that's uninhabited. So then that's right. All the wildlife conservatory places. Not conservatory, the wildlife places. So anyway, that's where I stopped over. So I'm looking at it now. So. That's fine. For me, it's in Yonah Diyayma, or at least close to it. Fine. Rav Mordechai Alavi, the Rav Ashimi Agrunya Ad Beikipi. He was malava him from Agrunya to Beikipi. V'amrila Ad Beidura. I guess you have to know the geographics to understand what the Gemara is saying here. So Amar of Yochanan Mishum Rav Meir, Kol she'ein malava umislava, kilu shofech damim. If you're not malava somebody, and you don't allow yourself to be accompanied, then it's shofech dam. You could be murder. Shel malei levu anshe Yericha le'Elisha, because if the people from Yericha accompanied Elisha out, like gira doivim latenai, because he would not have made the bears would not have he wouldn't have had the bears go eat the kids. Shenemar vayal misham beis kel, for who Allah. And he was going on the road. V'narim ketanim yotzim in here and the little kids came out of the city and they were screaming at him. V'yomrulay Allah karech, Allah karech. Here comes the bold. Go away, the bold guy, go away. Amrulay So he said, now Amrullah, Ale. So they said him go. Hakarachas Aleinu es amokim, because you made this place bald for us. Now, well, okay, the story we hear is basically, what was the name of the city? Yericho. Right, so Yericho, the water was a big problem, and Elisha came and made the water clean and purified, and then they were able to have water. Then he left the city. So these guys were very upset at him because they were brokers, water brokers, and he ruined their parnasa. So they made fun of him on his way out. And so when Mele, he cursed them, and a forest was a nace was built, a forest, and bears came out of the forest, and they destroyed these guys. So had the elders of the city taken Elisha and they walked with him, they would have stopped these kids from starting up with Elisha, and then Elisha wouldn't have cursed them. So Mele, we learn out from that if you're not milava somebody out of the city, it could cause all sorts of damage. Right? So that's what it's saying. So So my una arim kitana. What does it mean, little kids? Right, meaning little kids screamed at Elisha and he got upset. Amar Rabbi Lazar, no, sheminu arim min mitzvahs. They were na'arim from mitzvahs. Ketanim shayu mikatnei amana. They didn't have emuna. Here's another mussar for tonight. Why did they not have emuna? Because they were afraid that they're not going to have parnasa anymore because they no longer could sell water because Elisha got rid of the water. So that means they didn't. Hashem will give you. If you need parnasa, Hashem will get it to you some other way. So these guys didn't have that amuna, so that's why they were called ketanim. Right? Tana, some learned Naram Hoyu, they were kids. Ubizbaz atzman bekiketanim, but they made themselves cheapened themselves like ketanim. So maskal Rav Yosef, the guys of Dilma al Shem Mekoiman. Maybe the reason why they were called Na'arim Ketanim is because that's where they were from. Like Siva, Aram, Yatsu, Gedudim, Vayishbu Me'eretz Yisrael, Naira Ketana. So you see that there's a town called Naira Ketana. The Kashala Naira Ketana, meaning, well, I jumped the gun. It's Kasha, what do you mean? It's a Naira. They went out from Eretz Yisrael, a Naira Ketana. A Naira means she's 12. Ketana means she's less than 12. So what is it? Naira Ketana. Katana de min Neurin. It means that she was a katana from a town called Neurim. So maybe these guys were also from a town called Neurim. So Hasam loy mefarish mekoima. There, it didn't say the town. So Hacham mefurish mekoima, but here it did say the town. All right. So Memela, we can't say that that's the name of the town. Okay, let's finish the two dots. Then we're going to be discussing Elisha for a little bit. And Elisha turned. When these guys made fun of him, he turned and he cursed them. Mara, what did he see? So Amar Rav, Ra mamish. He saw them mamish, meaning when a chacham sees, then that means that he's seeing them in a negative light. If the Chachamim put their eyes on you, meaning they're upset at you, then it's either going to be death or it's going to be poor, which is basically the same thing, right? Because an ani is chashav kemes. But Shmuel Amar Ra Shakulan Nisaver Behen Iman B'Yom Kippurim. He saw in Nevi'us that their mothers all became pregnant on Yom Kippur. So these kids were all, even though that's not mamzerim, but they were all products of like a bad union. For Rav Yitzchak Nafcha Amar B'Lo Yisrael and B'Kei Mariam. He saw them all wearing ponytails like the Miriam. He saw in them that they didn't have even a lachluchus of mitzvah. So therefore, he had no problem killing them. Okay, but okay, maybe they didn't have mitzvahs, but maybe they would have kids that have mitzvahs. He saw that they wouldn't have kids, not him, and not these guys, not their kids. Outside they would not have kids. All right, we'll stop over there. All right. So I don't know. I'm not sure. Again,